Well, another day and another hilarious EA change. And to me, it really asks the question of like, who's making these decisions when it comes to certain things? And we'll talk about that today. And some interesting stuff in terms of we haven't really had leaks for these big EVOs. We got a gigantic EVO today, one of the biggest of the year so far. There was no word at all prior to getting it. So we'll talk about that and why. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to MMOXP.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. We do have another couple of SBCs leaked that are new today as well to go and look at, but I think that's kind of the main stuff. We did hit 20,000 subs, by the way, so thank you all for that. That is, it's very meaningful to me considering where I expected to be, and that's all because of you guys, by the way. That's all you guys. You guys are incredible. And yeah, let's just begin with, I suppose, the EVO that came out. Strike Force, 500,000 coins, 1,000 FC points. It is our first 3 playstyle plus EVO, and we actually got a second evolution today that people didn't even see because they were so busy looking at the first one. We got Goat Behavior, 100,000 coins for that one as well. So today alone, there was 600,000 coins worth of evolutions that dropped, which what do you make of that? But definitely an interesting day today because I didn't expect to see this because we didn't get this leaked at all. There's been no leaks at all for the past few gigantic evolutions that it would be the most valuable to know would be coming in advance for. So let's be honest here. What's probably happening is that I am sure people out there know about these gigantic EVOs before they come out and are probably just not telling us because these are the ones today that came out that you can make a shit ton of coins on, right? And I'm not accusing FUT Agent here of doing this at all. This is just an example. Like FUT Agent has been leaking out all the EVOs for the past, I'd say, a week or so. Every single EVO that's come out, a couple hours before it comes out, he's leaked. And all of a sudden now, him and FUT Yapper just didn't have the leaks today, both of them. And it's a gigantic evolution, one that you would expect to see. And this was the only FUT Agent's tweet about it, right? So I'm just highlighting this because it sort of lends into the whole leak debate, right? Is it good for the game? I mean, we all kind of, I think people who have been around for a while we do miss getting on every day and seeing surprise content. So is it a bad thing it wasn't leaked? Maybe it's not a bad thing at all. However, even if it's a surprise to us, it still probably wasn't a surprise to some people out there because they knew about it. So that's where the problem comes in. And maybe they really didn't know about it, but what are the odds today they just didn't know? And there is 600,000 coins worth of EVOs today. And today they were like, I didn't hear anything. Funnily enough. So just be aware, especially with evolutions, we can have a crazy EVO on the way and have no idea still. Even if you keep up to date with all the leaks at the second they drop, there's still chances that we just don't know. And we'll go look through that in a second, talk about that more. But there was also some back and forth today about the fact that we got more base playstyle EVOs, and that's always great. But once again, it's max 89. So I think our first base playstyle EVOs or so was a couple months ago. I want to say it was maybe end of January, just a rough estimate. I could be off on that by a little bit, but it's been a couple months and we have the exact same overall requirements. So what do you make of that? It is a little surprising to me that today we can put a 93.5 million coin R9 into that EVO, but this one, they're like, yeah, no base incisive pass for you though. Yeah, no base finesse, no base power shot for you though on a 90 overall card. Definitely interesting. But also want to say here, this does work in couch play friendlies. So if you have a second controller, just connect that to the other team and just farm your objectives, because I, on my PC account, was able to do the bicycle kick goal, and it was an 87 plus pick, so great rewards there. It took me like 40 in-game minutes. I put in Sam Kerr, who has Acrobat, and she scored one eventually just against a second controller. So just keep in mind that you can do that, or against a friend. I'm pretty sure you also can if you've got somebody out there who you want to play against. But okay, so on to the hilarious change right now before we get on to the leaks and news part. We got the 88 plus mixed icons pick today. It went up by a rating, so that's cool to see. It kept the same card types, unfortunately. Centurions, Thunderstruck, Winter Wildcards, Team of the Year icons. I think we're three sets of promo icons past Team of the Year icons, so interesting choice there. But let's go take a look at what was so odd about this. So here's just a list of all the 4 card types you can get here. You got Team of the Year icon, Winter Wildcard icon, Thunderstruck, and Centurions, right? So they made the change today, right, to 88 plus. Well, how many of them were 87 or 86 rated? Well, let's go look. Uh, there were two of them. There were two cards that were under 88 rated, and ironically enough, they're actually somewhat worth something. At least Zambrata is, because of some of the EVOs out right now. And Sol Campbell's 187k, which is actually quite a bit higher than a lot of the cards that you could theoretically get in this. So EA decided to make a ratings change in the icon pick today, and it gets rid of two cards in the entire list of players. So just when I saw this, I was like, who's making these decisions? Like, there's no oversight here. It's almost like they just thought to themselves, well, we'll increase the rating. We want to be nice. They didn't even bother looking at what cards actually would be disqualified or wouldn't fit anymore, because it almost feels like they were supposed to add like grassroots greats onto it or something. They kept it the exact same and got rid of two cards, and that's our icon pick for a week. That is hilarious to me. Who is making that kind of decision? Because it's almost like that was an AI decision, like upgrade the rating at this point during this week, this point during that week, and they didn't bother doing their due diligence, right? But yeah, I think today we might have gotten, in terms of like how much a card would be on the market, probably the best evolution we've ever gotten today if you have an untradeable card in your club. And that's this R9 card right here. This, I believe, is probably going to be the most valuable card in an EVO we've maybe ever seen, honestly. I think this card would, I know the play styles aren't really there, but 3 play style plus R9, that card would be like 7 mil on the market or something crazy like that. And if you have him untradeable, you luckily will be able to do him for 500,000 coins. And if you're big into doing guys like me, it'll be perfect for you, right? And also Suarez fits into an EVO already. This Kenny Dalglish fits in. The Torres SBC. This Ronaldo is better than his Team of the Year card, which is kind of another debate people are having right now. Like, Team of the Year cards are in picks again, and they don't feel as exclusive. And I saw a tweet today. People were like, yeah, we don't really like that they're not as exclusive. You almost don't even need to be on during Team of the Year anymore. It feels like it's not a necessity, which probably is, I think, a good thing for most people. But I see what the complaint is. Like, you want exclusivity almost. You want a promo to last for a while, and people just aren't happy. But people, I mean, honestly, they won't be happy seeing anything ever. So it's like tough to decipher what actually is worthy of complaints and what isn't. But also today, actually a mistake I made. I have this 89 Eto. I put this Eto card into the other evolution. I put him into the clinical finisher one yesterday, and the next day a new Evo comes out that has the exact same playstyle plus and just a lot better stats, just a way better stats. I know it's more expensive. This shows you once again it is better to just hold off on Evos like as long as you can, because you never know what card ends up fitting a new Evo the next day, literally the next day. At least I think clinical finisher was on Saturday. It might have been Friday, but either way, it's like 2 days, right? 2 days maximum. So I have this card, and I could have had this card, and I would have rather have had this one. But the fact that this card right here can exist at all is just proof that EA are going ham with evolutions, and they are making, I think they're making bank on it. They're draining coins in the market, they're making bank, and we're going to see more of this. So if you like this, congratulations. I guarantee you the rest of this year, once a week, another 300,000 plus coin Evos coming out. I can almost guarantee you that. But yeah, what do you guys think of how EA is kind of handling the game at the moment? I know we talked about it yesterday some, but seeing another day now of 600,000 coins worth of Evos really does show you where this game is going, and maybe that's a good thing, and maybe it's not a good thing. But we do have Elite SBC, Rafa Marquez as a Dream Chaser SBC. I saw people saying we hadn't had an icon or hero center back in a while, so it looks like we do get one with Rafa Marquez here. La Liga links as well, official stats, long ball and intercept. And I do think some people really like long ball in their center back, so that's kind of nice to see if you're one of those people. But yeah, it was him, and then I think one more person. And yeah, right here, don't get your hopes up, but Hog. I know it's not Hog. That's like an American way of saying it. Herg, I'm gonna say, is the Danish player there. So that's the card we haven't seen yet. Obviously, Sergio Roberto was yesterday. Bayer was yesterday. Angelino was yesterday as well. But an interesting thing from here is Donk says, can we get Team 2 leaks? Or sorry, someone replied to this tweet saying, can we get Team 2 leaks? His promo's mid. Only Hull at SBC is good. Donk replies and says, is it not too early? Question mark. Feel people probs wouldn't like that much. Crying laughing emoji. So he obviously knows leaks about the next team already, but doesn't want to say it because people maybe wouldn't like it that we have the next week leaked already. So this once again shows you people just know stuff, and unfortunately the truth of the matter is that people are definitely making some trades, possibly fueling their business off of leaks that are not out to the public yet, and we see it a lot in the market. But this is just a reality of the leaks that we get nowadays. And I was seeing this from AC2, like who do you want to see in week 2? And it was a concept of all of these guys SBC wish list. It's like, I mean, we just got a 5.5 mil SBC. I know that maybe the ones getting leaked right now aren't that exciting and stuff, but it is funny seeing how long we can go without seeing a huge SBC. It's about 48 hours. Once we reach about the 1 day of content, the next day post Hullet. So we have Hullet, and then the next day comes no big SBC. The next day comes, people are like, hey, where's the big SBC? We need a big one. Everything looks mid. And I talked about this yesterday too, but just funny when I saw this tweet, I'm like, this is exactly what we talked about yesterday. Everybody just wants massive SBCs all the time. And trust me, I think it'd be awesome too, but I think it's probably not possible. I think we can't see this like all the time. I don't think we probably could. We talked about possible compensation as well. I want to say it might have been a week ago or so. We talked about how these Sweet 16 packs were not having 90 plus rated in them when they were supposed to. It was supposed to be a guaranteed 90 plus rated card, and in this pack right here, there is no 90 plus still. And this has been a thing for a week now, so I don't know when EA are going to address this, but yeah, it does look like still the Sweet 16 packs are broken, and I'm assuming eventually at some point we will see compensation here. I don't recommend opening one, but if you didn't get a 90 plus, you'd basically get like a 2-for-1 pack, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be that everybody who opened it gets another free pack, because the odds were obviously affected, right? You weren't guaranteed a 90 plus rated card, even though it said 90 plus rated guarantee. Similar to how other pack weight situations happen when there's mistakes in there. It's kind of, it affects everybody, not just the people who didn't get a 90. But EA don't do the compensation like that. But yeah, this is still broken. I don't know when EA are going to address this. They kind of need to eventually. I also wanted to show you guys this. The most used card in the E Premier League was this Trent Alexander-Arnold card. And I'll talk about why in a sec, but also Werner got a +2 and Joe Gomez got a +2, I believe. Those are the two cards that got upgrades. I want to say it was Werner and Gomez, I believe, got the +2s. And the reason Trent was so used by pros is because of a couple things. So one, long ball plus. Pros love long ball plus and incisive pass plus. It kind of depends on preference for them, but many of them use Trent today. He has base incisive pass, very important. Base ping pass is awesome. Base tiki-taka is awesome. Also base intercept for a midfielder is nice too. I wanted to highlight this because pros just look at stuff through play styles. Basically, that's the most important thing to them. Ironically, they love R9. Like the one card they don't look at play styles for is R9 actually. But for the most part, like trying to find the best cards in the game, the players who play the game for 8 hours, 12 hours a day are all going after a card with play styles like these. So just make of that information whatever you will, right? But okay, on to the market now. And yesterday I literally was sitting here like, yeah, it's probably not a bad time to buy actually, because nothing's really leaked and there's not much exciting stuff going on at the moment. That didn't work out because the market died today. Well, attackers did, because we got a 500,000 coin EVO with 3 play style pluses. And just go look at the top end stuff like we always do. I like looking at the top end to see what they're doing. Sophia Wilson's down today quite a bit. Wrighton's down quite a bit today. Salah's down quite a bit today. Yep, every attacker is going down, even the top end stuff. So this is just what can happen in this market nowadays. What can happen is a card can become extremely rare and very sought after, like this now CR7, this Dalglish, this Di Natale, this Eto, and cards that are tradable that are really high rated can just die in value when a new EVO drops. So that's kind of the new market age we live in now. And it's just a reminder once again, though, to go out and buy cards that you think you might want. 90 rateds now can fit into stuff. Go out and buy those 90s. You got to go out and buy them. If you really wanted a great Gyökeres card, you could have bought him for 30,000 coins yesterday or so, 35k. Now he's going to be extinct at 65k for the foreseeable future, right? Just always go out and buy a card that you are going to like. As an investment, you can definitely buy cards too. If you've got spare coins, for example, Xabi Alonso, 97k, but 2 elite playstyle pluses. If there's a 90 rated midfielder card, he's probably going to be insane. Roy Keane, kind of the same there. A winger one like Mo Salah. Like, yes, these cards are very expensive. The cards maybe more like a Declan Rice would be better buys for most people, but if you really are, if you're just filled with coins and you want to buy some investment stuff, I mean, you can make some unbelievable amounts of coins with some of these investments. Like, for example, we got a 90 winger EVO, right? Mo Salah's max price range is 400,000 coins. He probably goes up close to that if he fits in one, because he's just, it's a Mo Salah evolution. But that's kind of for like the big budgets, and you can make a lot of coins with those big budgets. But yeah, just go out and buy those 90s right now. And okay, let's read your comments now. We've got The Royal Noob, who says, I watched this earlier before playing today and thought maybe the delay wasn't as bad and everyone was just over exaggerating. Just played 2 games and it's honestly unplayable. Yeah, for me, it's a lot worse on console. It still exists on PC, but it's a lot worse on console for me. Just daily reminder of the delay talk, okay? People don't talk about it enough, I don't think, and it's mind-blowing it exists in the first place. Daniel says, company trying to make money equals evil. Yeah, it's an important distinction, obviously. A company trying to make money does not make them inherently evil, right? It doesn't do that. But I think if you look at the whole totality and picture we've got right now of how EA operate and all of the things that they've done in the past and that they continue to do, if you don't believe that there are some shady practices used by EA, and in fact, not just used by them, but utilized by them, does that make sense? It's like a business strategy to use certain tactics that are pretty shady. That is a lot different than a company just being like, yeah, I want to make a good product and make money. Like, that is not the same thing. I think if we ignore some of the shady stuff they do, we're just turning a blind eye to it. I mean, they literally hire people to study your brain chemistry and design the menus, design the packs, design the game to fit around what fills your brain with as much dopamine as possible and as many signals as possible that say, come back, please, come back, spend money, open packs. I mean, at what point does it become evil? Like, where is that line drawn? If it's not there yet, when would it be? Like, when would that become that? So I don't know. I wonder if you watch this video, Daniel, if you have a follow-up comment, like, when does it get immoral? I'm just curious to know in your point of view when it gets there, because if it's not there yet for you, then I just personally wonder what would make it, right? Okay, Docket Rum, whenever you say per se, this is all I think about. Okay, what the hell is this? Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm more a sanguinarian vampire, in that I rely more on the life force energy, per se.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, and that I think it's time for us to feed, per se.
And this comment from Mac is interesting to me because he might be right about this. You know, it doesn't matter what EA does. However you calibrate the game, there will always be a way to optimize it, and then another homogenous meta will appear that people will complain about. And please don't say anything like EA needs to find a balance. It's not possible. Not when any version of the game you make just sets millions of players off trying to break it. And I think that this is where I have sympathy for them in a little bit, because when there are certain things that are kind of broken at the start of the game, you know, they have how many playtesters. I don't actually know the number at all of how many playtesters that they have prior to release, but you have millions playing the game the next day, and I can imagine that there's going to be stuff that you didn't pick up on, right? So I'm a little more lenient on like release times, because let's be honest here, there's no chance they can catch all the stuff. They can't catch it all. But I do think we can get to a more balanced point a bit in like March. I think we can get to that point later on into the year. Of course, with that balance though, there will always be something better than something else. Like, you can't get away from the fact that there will always be a best play style. There's going to be a second best play style and an awful play style. Like, they almost can't escape that. So I agree in that sense for sure. I do think though that there is a responsibility on EA's shoulders to just make a game that isn't like totally broken, and there is somewhat of a balance towards. But let's be honest here, within the parameters of that balance, there will always be stuff that's overpowered, always be stuff that's better than something else. And that's something that you literally, yeah, you're right, you'll never be able to get rid of that. But okay, I'm gonna go edit this video, and then I'm going to hop on and for a couple hours by myself in my house play this horror game. So let's go and let's get that going. Thank you all for joining. Thanks again for 20,000. Appreciate you all so much. Love you all, everyone. Peace.